FountainFX on Tuesday the 25th of March 2014. I'm in a 15-minute chart because we are in the early mornings and we're waiting for some confirmation of news coming out of Germany, some critical news. So at this point I'm not trading because we are waiting to see what the news for Germany is going to share with us. So we're waiting for this candlestick to close, and the close of this is when the news will come out. At the moment, this has been showing some downwards pressure and then upwards pressure, so it's been very much up and down. There's no real clarification or confirmation at the moment. But what we can see is we've got a double top formation here at around about the 138.40, which, if we go backwards, we can see was a significant number previously. Oops, where are we? Let's go all the way back here. It says, talking rubbish, there we go. The 138.40, 139. Previously it did a double top and then it fell from there. Now we don't know whether it's going to do the same, but it may do. We've got to wait for this news to come out and then we can take a trade. So just to recap on what happened yesterday evening, for those of you that feel that you have to be a day trader to be able to trade on a short time frame, you can't work a job, what I would like to share with you is those of you in South Africa are in a perfect time zone, because especially at the moment you're 2 hours ahead of Europe and you are 6 hours ahead of New York. And if we look down here, 7 o'clock last night was 1 o'clock in the afternoon in New York, which meant it was their lunchtime session. And we look here, there was a G7 summit going on. Don't know much about what news came out, but it was potentially impacting the market. And we have an opportunity here purely from technical analysis. We look at the bottom here, the low. This was a low here. Price had previously pushed down in the European Open session. At this point, we have a bullish engulfing candlestick off this bearish candlestick here. Reverse that, and then we get confirmation that the trend has changed, because here we then get another bullish engulfing candlestick with this bearish pullback. And this is on the 15-minute. We're not having to go down the 5-minute at this point. So we have a low that's got formed here just below the 137.70. Then we get a higher low at the 137.73. So only 3 points higher, but it's showing that price wants to push back up. Line here is an area of previous resistance. Okay, the highs here touching off here. So if we're going back here, we can see that there was a slight channel. And at this point, price then broke above that level. So it shows that it started to push the other way. If you'd have come in around about 6:30 from work and switched on your computer, you would have seen this pattern forming. You'd have been looking at these candlesticks emerging. Okay, so we can see that prices then, there's not a lot of downward movement. We can see that. It's very clear. We can see the momentum is upwards. So we look for a pullback. At this point, there is a pullback there. So a buy here. When you can see that there's all this open space here, so you'd have bought round here at the 137.85, let's say, and you can even see that the high is up here at the 138.16. So you've still got 30 points there if you were just aiming to go back to this area of previous resistance. But what happened? Price just turned and just went. So by trading just on the momentum, once you were in, only when the momentum goes against you do you get out. That you'd have taken this trade at 7 o'clock last night from 137.90, let's say, just err on the conservative, 137.90 all the way up, and let's say you'd have been out around about the 138.60. A nice 70-point trade, and you're working alongside your job. You can do day trading for a couple of hours in the evening when you get home and still make a decent profit. Okay, there are going to be some times in the evening where you look at it and it moves 20, 30 points. Great, thank you very much. But we can see that at least 1 or 2 days of the week at the moment, price is moving by a significant amount on the euro US dollar. You don't have to then understand everything about every other indice, about every other indicator, about all this other information that's out there. And a lot of it is just mind-boggling. It just totally overwhelms you and stops you from taking trades. I had it when I first started. Many a time I saw a simple trade move like this, and I would get someone who walk past me in the trade floor, and he'd turn around and say, "Oh yes, but have you looked at the S&P 500? That's giving you a conflicting piece of information, so I'd rather stay out than get in." and I would sit and look at this point and not take the trade and watch, and then suddenly sit back and watch the money go off in the direction that I was trading and that I'd been sitting there spending the last hour setting up my trade plan. I got my trigger and then someone else would distract me, or I would watch a piece of news that was distracting. So keep it simple, keep it clean in terms of your trade charts. The other thing is you don't then therefore have to have 25 different screens. Maybe one or two screens is enough. I use one screen, to be honest, because I'm looking at price all the time. I'm not looking at anything else. And the only time I switch over to another screen is if I'm waiting for a news report to come out. And that is really it. So keep it as simple as possible. So those of you that work, you can come on and you can log on in the evenings when you get home and still be able to take good trades. And for those of you during the day who are able to maybe work shifts, you've got the European Open around about 9-10 o'clock in the morning at the moment. And as I said, we're waiting here for the news to come out on the German report. So we'll keep you updated on that.